Welcome back to the Girl Power Alliance podcast. You're just getting me today, all alone, no interview. And I'm feeling emotional. I have a lot of things on my mind and my heart. So you're just going to get to be a fly on the wall for all of it. I love doing interviews. I love talking with a variety of different women who share their stories, their passions. And before the Girl Power Alliance podcast, I had my own podcast for a couple of years. I started in 2017. I went 3 straight years and kind of put it on a long-term pause in 2020 when I started the Girl Power Alliance podcast. And then I brought it back in 2022 at the beginning for like 2 episodes. And then I stopped again because I completely restructured Girl Power Alliance from a membership into a network marketing company, and I haven't been back, but I have missed solo podcasting. It's fun to kind of talk things out and do these podcasts where I get to just share my heart. So you're getting that today. First and foremost, I'm going to talk about the name of Girl Power Alliance. For some crazy reason, there's a lot of talk and conversation about the name. I've had people actually go, really? That sounds so feminist. Or is this a company for little girls or whatever? So I'm going to give you the kind of the background on the name so that once and for all, this conversation can be put to rest. And the bottom line is, you don't have to like it. I don't like everything that products or companies do in their branding and marketing. And even if I still like the product, I still use it. So like it or don't like it, you're going to hear that. And then secondly, I want to talk about integrity in network marketing and the profession of network marketing. I want to talk about trends that I'm seeing, and I want to talk about what is not happening that I think should be happening in the profession. If you'll indulge me and stick with me through this, I'll try to keep it right at 30 minutes. I'm watching the clock so that I don't go over 30 minutes. Because believe me, I can. I could probably talk about these things for an hour, at least. So, okay, let's talk about the name Girl Power Alliance. Well, back at the end of 2019, at the very beginning of 2020, I knew that I knew I was starting something. I didn't exactly know the full scope of it, but I knew I was starting something. I knew it was going to be community of women. And months leading up to the formation of what would be created, I kept hearing these few things like over and over on repeat in my mind. And one of them was community and alliance, women aligning, the power of women aligning. I knew a couple of things. And, if you have ever started a business or wanted to have a website or something, you go and you look for domain names that you can have. It's like a part of starting a business, a real business. You need to have a domain name. And in a perfect world, your domain name is exactly the name of your business, and you can get it with a .com. Although there's many now. So it's not as big of a deal to not have a .com, but people are more familiar with it. And that .com means .commercial. Did you know that? That's like for commercial business. Anyway, so I had a couple of things and I'm looking for URLs, and I was just really frustrated. I had one word that I knew for sure that I wanted, and it was the word alliance. I knew that God wanted me to create something that was going to align women. This was going to be an alliance of women. And for those of you of a certain age, I don't remember the name of the cartoon. So don't make fun of me. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to see me do something with my hands. And you may remember this. This was a cartoon. Had to have been in the 80s, like early 80s. And it was like superheroes. And there was this twin brother and sister, and they would do this thing where they said, Wonder Twin powers activate. And they put their hands together, and these rings touched, and then they like became superheroes, or their powers like activated when they did that. And I kept seeing this picture in my mind when I was trying to come up with whatever the name of this was. And I knew that when women aligned, it would be like what I saw in that cartoon, that they would come together and they would be activating power in the kingdom. So I had alignment, alliance, power. I'm trying to come up with all these things. And I have this, I should have brought it over here for sake of recording this podcast, but I have this little frame that my son gave me one year, Christmas or birthday or Mother's Day or something. It's just a canvas that has on it, it says Girl Power. And it's just in my office. So I'm lamenting over this. I'm looking up domain names. I'm praying about it. I'm writing things down, coming up with ideas, and nothing's just sticking. Bobby walks into my office and I'm like, I don't have it. I can't come up with it. And he looks over at this picture on my desk And it doesn't even say it fully. It says GRL, girl, and then power, PWR. He goes, why don't you call it girl power? And when he said that, I was like, Girl Power Alliance. Here's what it all symbolizes. Girl. We are told to have childlike faith, to come to God as our heavenly Father, as a child, and trust in Him. So that is the innocence and the humility of the girl. That's what girl, that part of the name symbolizes. The coming to God with the humility and trust and faith of a child. Power. We are born with the authority and the power of the Holy Spirit. This is what we are given. It's not a question of whether we have that power and authority or not. And alliance is this alliance, this alignment, this coming together of women who, when we are together, especially walking in the same direction for the kingdom, we have undeniable kingdom shaking power. So that is the thought process behind the name. And when I was so excited about it, and I loved the acronym, I loved GPA. I thought that was a fun, fast thing that people would remember. And it all just kind of came together. So you may like it, you may not. I love it. I'm proud of it. Oh, and there was another thing. I didn't necessarily want to put the word kingdom or Christ or faith in the name because I wanted all women to be attracted to this. I didn't want them to be turned off immediately because of the name of the business. Now, inadvertently, some people have been turned off by the name of it, but I didn't want people that maybe didn't have a relationship with the Lord or had been injured by church or religion to be turned away from what we have here just because of the name. So I wanted to attract everybody because what I know is this: there's a seat at the table for everybody. This is an incredibly inclusive environment where it doesn't matter what your background is. Maybe you don't have a relationship with the Lord. Maybe you do. Maybe you're, depending on your denomination. We have women in here that are not of the family of faith, knowing Jesus the way that we do. But guess what? They will, because as we just continue to walk in our purpose and follow the leading of the Holy Spirit, then He wraps His arms around everybody in our community. So we don't have to be the Holy Spirit. We just get to be who we are, walking out our purpose boldly, and love on people, love one another as Christ loves us. And I have a verse over here on my wall that you cannot see because it's behind the computer, but it's Matthew 7:16 that says, "You will know them by their fruits." And I want people to know that we are a part of the family of faith by the fruits, by the love, the community, the collaboration, the connection, the growth, the lives changed, transforms, the freedom, the chains that have fallen off, all of that by the fruit. We don't have to hit people over the head with the Bible. We don't have to condemn people and say, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be going to that church. We don't have to do any of that. All we have to do is invite people into our community and keep being who we are. Hopefully that gives some clarity to you if you were like, where did that name come from? That's where it came from. Pretty simple. And hey, what do they say? That even bad press is good press? I don't know if that's true, but it's still press. Bad press is press. Okay, next I want to talk about something that I'm seeing, and hopefully I won't get emotional about it because I've been very emotional today. But the network marketing profession, come what may, it's got great people in it, great resources, personal development. There's some good stuff, but it's got a lot of bad stuff too. And it is in network marketing predominantly for me over the years that I saw people who professed the name of Christ as followers of Christ, as believers, who manipulated people the most. They took that authority and that, I hate to say this, that leadership, that influence that they had over people as leaders, as earners in the profession. And they would manipulate people like, well, the Lord really wants you to do this. No, the Lord wants you to do that. And I never wanted to do that. And I'm still seeing it happen today. I talk with a lot of people over the course of the week, a lot of women who they claim this title of MLM PTSD, network marketing post traumatic stress, because of the things that they have walked through, which I think is funny more than anything. Um, it's, eh, you know, whether you have gone through a good experience or a bad experience, or maybe a combination of the both. Uh, the truth of the matter is something will cause you trauma if you let it cause you trauma. I mean, I, that word is thrown around so crazy now, that we talk about, you got yelled at by a teacher and now you had trauma that you had to overcome. I feel that we've gotten so overly sensitive about things that just are a part of being a human being. Like, you don't get through this life without trauma, if that's what we're going to call trauma. It's part of the human experience. We encounter good things, good people. We encounter bad things and bad people. I don't know anybody, not a soul, that has gotten through life without having to endure some of those traumas. So it's just part of being a human being. But we've kind of landed on this place where we really focus in on our traumas. And I've kind of gone off on a little bit of a rabbit trail here about trauma, but it's something that really, I'm sad because I see people so focused on their traumas. I help people get over trauma, 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 trauma. Listen, like driving in California, you could create trauma if that's what trauma is happening. People drive horrible here. They don't follow the rules and make up their own rules. Anyway, this MLM PTSD thing that people claim when I talk to them about network marketing, and oh, it's why I don't want to get in the profession or whatever. But they claim that, but they sign up with the same people doing the same things, using the same tactics in companies that are same old same. But why do they do it? They do it because they still believe in the opportunity, come what may. Like, they know that maybe the people don't have that much integrity. They know that they're with a company that's just the same old same, but they are interested in the opportunity. So they say yes. Now, on the flip side, what we're doing here, we've changed the rules. We're changing the narrative. We're not selling to people. We're building with transparency and authenticity. And people choose the same old same, even though they tell you they don't want to do the same old thing with the same old people. They want something different, but they choose it. Maybe it's manipulation. Maybe it's because it's comfortable, because it's the same and what we're doing is different. There's could be a million different reasons. But I want to say something to you. If you are one of those people that have claimed MLM PTSD and you but you're still looking at one of those companies, if you're one of those people that has claimed MLM PTSD, but you're still looking at those companies, then it's not MLM PTSD that's stopping you. It's fear. It's fear to step out and do something new. Now, you may have heard me say this, that my goal with Girl Power Alliance as the owner of this company is not necessarily that we're the biggest company, not necessarily the metrics by which all network marketing corporate people, owners, distributors use these numbers. Our company did this much sales in this amount of time. Our company sold this many products in this amount of time. While those are metrics and there is value in them, that's not necessarily the metric that I am focused on as the owner of this company. The metric that I am focused on is the most impact. And I will tell you that this company, we can have the most impact when we help people financially. I just recorded a really awesome podcast with Gail Root, and we were talking about the finance piece and why it's so uncomfortable for people to talk about the finance piece. But it's the thing that changes lives the most. I look back as a mother, as a single mother, as an entrepreneur, and it is finances that moves the needle the most. Because if you know anything about my story, you know that I was a teen mom. I put myself through school. That was hard. I had to work full time. When I was in cosmetology school to get my license to do hair, it's a trade school, so it's not you're logging hours. Back then it was 1,600 hours. So everyone went to school basically 40 hours a week, like a job that you don't get paid for. So I was in school with about 300 other girls at the time. I was the only girl that worked full time, the only one. Some of them had part-time jobs. None of them worked full time. I worked full time. Why did I do that? Because I saw cosmetology as a means to an end, and I was willing to put in the work, right? If I had, at that time, if I had had money, I wouldn't have had to work so hard. I did 80 hours a week for almost 2 years. I thought it was going to kill me. I was young. I was in my 20s. I had the energy to do it, but it was hard. My children were young. They were going to school. That's a whole nother podcast. It was really hard. Years later, I remarried, married Bobby. We had another child. I had another child. We had my third, his first. And I had a robust, very successful business in network marketing, making plenty of money, making the most money I'd ever made. I was working hard to get there. I worked 50 to 60 hours a week on my feet. Matter of fact, when I was pregnant with Savannah, my third, when I was pregnant with my other two, I had no career. I was a teenager. I didn't have a job to go to. I was finishing school and doing nothing, being a mom with Jacob. I didn't have a job or anything. But with Savannah, I had built a career already when I was pregnant with her. I worked my same schedule until I was 37 weeks pregnant. Took the same amount of clients. I didn't lessen my schedule. I worked hard up until that 37th week. And so when I started in network marketing, Savannah was about 2. And I had this really successful business, and I was making plenty of money, but I had no life, no freedom. I didn't want that. I wanted freedom. I wanted a life. I just feel that is not our purpose in life, is to work all the young years of our life, these vital years, and when our children are growing up, that we spend more time at work than we do with our families. I just thought there is another way, and I'm going to figure it out. Network marketing was my way. So when I started in network marketing, I had my very busy business in the salon, and the only time that I could build that business was at night. Why did I do that? I did that to make money. And I wasn't ashamed of it, because it was the money that was going to bring me home. It was not the product. I had been using the product in that company for 2 years. It was the money that was going to do that. And I wasn't ashamed of it. You get a raise at your corporate job, or you make a big sale in real estate or something else, and you earn a big bonus. It's something that people are proud of. That, yay. I mean, you get attaboys and accolades, but for some reason, talking about the opportunity in network marketing is a stopping point for people. I just want to tell you something. Inside of Girl Power Alliance, we have a real opportunity. It's real. There is a real business here and a real opportunity. If you're listening to this and you're like me, maybe you're like me, and you're with a company right now, and part of the vernacular in promoting that product is talking about how life-changing that product is. This is going to change your life. But maybe you're like me, and that just doesn't align anymore. Talking about how a product can change your life. Because as a follower of Jesus, that at the core, he's really the only one that can. He's the only one that can. And if you're out of alignment at all with the culture or the product where you're at, it's going to stifle your ability to promote it. It's just the way that it is, especially for women. I think men have a less hard time with that. They can talk about something they don't totally believe in because they're more focused on the means to the end, right? Like, yeah, it's a good product and everything, but what I'm focused on is building a legacy for my family. because I was a single mom, because that's the route that I took in this life, I've always been very focused on that, building a legacy for my family, a means to an end. Working and going to cosmetology school full time. Not ideal, not easy, very hard. Oh my gosh, I thought it was going to kill me. Means to an end. Built this other successful business. Now I'm starting another business on top of it, missing even more time with my family, like gone even more than I was. Why? Because I wanted to? No, because it was a means to an end. I was willing to do that because it was a means to an end. So in network marketing, if you are somebody that is building and you are not talking about the fact that the opportunity is available to you, then you're missing something. That it is a means to an end. And we have an amazing product here. Our product is personal professional development resources. We have many live calls every single month. We have hundreds, literally hundreds of modules available for you on demand to continue to grow your skills professionally and personally. We have 3 certifications. Our 16-week leadership certification, that'll just turn your world upside down in all the best ways. We have our speaker certification because we want to plant our flag in the public speaking arena and really raise up and create a platform for public speakers, people of faith, to have that platform and to really get their message out, right? And then the 3rd certification that we have is our Radiant Leadership and Life Coaching Program. And that is for women that want to actually teach and facilitate our 16-week leadership program. So the product that we have, amazing. It's literally amazing. It literally will transform you. Personal development, especially personal development, when you have a foundation of faith, is transformative. That's like bar none. Come and be a part of that. Just continue to become the best version of yourself, a better wife, a better mother, a better volunteer, a better entrepreneur, better sister, a better grandmother, all of it. But I will tell you what's really going to change people's lives here. It's the fact that there's an opportunity attached. I don't know if I've shared this with you guys on the podcast yet. I've shared it on calls, but I'm going to share it here. One of the things that the Lord spoke to me about this company was that women are going to make more here in a month than they've ever made in a year. And that with all of the craziness that's going on in the world economically, and it is there is nutty things going on with different currencies around the world, the economy, different markets, the stock market, all kinds of things. There's cryptocurrencies. There's crazy. There's stuff. Lots of warnings and fear about what is happening in the financial markets in the future. Do you know how to guard yourself, how to create a financial wall of protection around yourself and your family so big, so tall, so high that no matter what happens, you guys are okay? It's going to be creating a semi-passive residual income with a digital product that does not have to be shipped. You don't have to worry about crossing borders. When you sign up with Girl Power Lines, you have instant access to the product. You don't have to worry about teaching people are they using it right or using it wrong. It's very, very, very simple. But without adding the fact that you can share it with other people and get paid, you're stifling your growth. And for those of you that are out there saying you have MLM PTSD, but yet you just signed up with X new company that's talking about timing and positioning and get in now, and you're just doing the same thing. If you're looking to actually change the narrative and be a part of something that's actually different, where the conversation is different, where the culture is different, there isn't manipulation. We aren't lying. We aren't pumping up numbers. Oh my gosh, the numbers that I hear some crazy things that people are saying about some of these new companies out there. I heard somebody say the other day on a live, they were talking about a new company that they were with, and they said, our comp plan pays out 80% to the field. I think it was 80. It was 70 or 80. It was it was a lie. It's math. That's an impossible number. I heard somebody say the other day what their company did in their first week or their first month, and it was tens of millions. I was like, I've never heard of that in the history of network marketing ever. but people talk about it and it moves them. So if you want to be part of changing the conversation, and stop falling for the same old same and be a part of a changed conversation and help us change the conversation. We are different. We want to do things different. This is your personal invitation. Come here. Plant your flag with Girl Power Alliance. Be part of the change of the narrative in the profession of network marketing, in the personal and professional development world. Be proud to be a part of a network marketing company like this, where you can grow and you can invite other people to grow too. I have one final question for you. I just want you to think on this. I want you to leave this podcast thinking about this in particular. What problem are you facing right now? What is something that is weighing you down? You're stressed out about it. It could be a number of things. It could be a bill, it could be something coming up, a trip that you have to pay for, something that your kids need. Could be school, education, could be a car, your car's about to break down, bills, whatever it is. What is something that you're very medical things that you need? Dental's more expensive than medical. What is something right now that you're really stressed out about that would completely vanish into thin air with more money? Did you ever think about that? When you have more money, these things that stress you out so bad, they get real small. So my passion for helping to create financial freedom is about so much more. It's about the life that I believe that you are intended to live. The enemy wants you under the burden of debt. The enemy wants you afraid to talk about opportunity, afraid to talk about money, because he knows that if you actually caught on to his scheme and you began to passionately build an empire, he wouldn't be able to trick you as easily. You wouldn't be as stressed out as you are. You'd be able to step into your calling. You'd be able to be more generous. You'd be able to pour out more because you wouldn't be so stressed. Marriages would be saved. I talk to women every week. Their marriages are so strained because of financial pressure. Let's get rid of that. If you want to be a part of this, this is your personal invitation. Head over to girlpoweralliance.com, message us, send a message. We're on all the social media platforms. Find somebody and say yes and join us in this crusade.